This conference will now be recorded.
Just want to give a recap of yesterday's session. In yesterday's session, we have first how we discussed about how to give
Tejas ma'am, your
outlines,
voice is
how to
getting.
assign a grid lines. First, how to draw a grid lines. Next, we have discussed about how to diffuse as we have done in section. We have that first slab in areas, and after that we gave load patterns on the frame. On the frame for load we have to assign loads. For that we have defined the load patterns first. Load patterns in load patterns dead load will be given. Dead load will be taken by software itself. So multiplier should be 1. We have to assign live load. If our building is designed for lateral loads, then we can assign wind load and earthquake load in the wind load and earthquake load in the load pattern. And wind load and earthquake loads will be taken from IS codes, where wind load is IS 875 part 3, and where earthquake load will be taken from IS 1893 2002. The properties of a wind load and earthquake load will depend upon our building structure, where it is located, which terrain it is located, the topography of the building. All these parameters will take into account while we defining wind load and earthquake load. So after defining wind load and earthquake load, we should modify based upon our structure references. After that, after defining the load patterns, we should define the load combinations. Normally, a building or a structure is defined for a load combination of a structure is designed for a load combination of 1.5 dead load plus live load. And if we give earthquake load or lateral loads, the combinations of the combinations is 24 for earthquake load. If not, the software will take its auto combinations, where it from IS codes auto combinations. If not, we can give here new combinations. For that, we should do add new combo, and we should give here a new combination. That is, if we want 1.5 dead load plus live load, then the combination of will be load case name will be first, should be dead, then it should be linear static, and scale factor should be 1.5, as we are adding 1.5 dead load plus live load. So the scale factor should be 1.5. So after defining the load combinations, after defining the load combinations, we should assign the loads on the structure. We should assign the loads on the structure. For assigning the loads, first we have to select the select slabs and beams. Where the slab will take floor finishes load and and a live load. Where the floor finishes load is a dead load, and it will be taken is my voice is clear? I'm audible to all or not? Okay, thank you. Yes. After, if you have any queries, you can just text in the chat box. Yes. After assigning the loads, first here we should assign the loads. For that, first we have to select the components. Means if we are assigning the loads to slab, then we have to go to select, click on select, and then go to select. For that, go to select properties. We should select area sections and slab. So after selecting slab, after selecting slab, we should assign loads. For that, we should go to assign, click on assign, click on, first we have to select slab. Then we have to assign the loads. For that, we should go to assign, click on assign. Then as the slabs are selected, area loads will be, we can operate area loads. So first we have to click on area loads, and next as our loads are uniform loads, so we should give in a uniform shell. So after selecting and after going to uniform loads, we have to select what we are giving. Means if we are giving floor finishes, then you have to give a you have to take your floor finish and how much load we are taking. As the dead load is taken from IS 875 part 1, from that we are taking the floor finishes as 1. So we have to click on active existing loads, click on OK. After applying floor finishes, in the same way we should apply live load also, and live load is taken from live load will vary from building to building. Means if it is a residential building, the live load is taken as 2 kilonewton per meter square. If it is a complex or it is a commercial building, then it is taken as a 3 kilonewton per meter square. And these values will come from IS 875 part 2. Part 2. Next, after assigning all the dead loads and live loads, and the wall load will be, and the wall load will be come onto beams as a dead load. So we are assigning wall loads as a dead load on the beams. Wall loads will be calculated as the width of the wall into density of the wall in multiplied with width of the wall multiplied with density of the wall multiplied with the height of the wall. Here the height of the wall will be the story height. So the story height, normally the story height will be 3 meters. So 3 into the width of the wall is 230 mm, 9 inches wall. So 0.23 into the density of masonry wall. Yes, the density of wall will vary if the masonry wall, if it is not a masonry wall, if other bricks are taken, so the density of the wall will vary. So for that, normal the red brick masonry wall density is 20. So 0.3 into 3 into 0.223 into the height of the wall, the density of the wall, that is 20. After calculating this, we will get 13.2 as a dead load on the beams. For that, we have to select. For that, we have to select beams, frame section. After selecting the beams, we have to assign as a uniform load. For assigning loads, we should click on assign and then go to frame loads and then go to distributed load. Here it is a dead load, or we define a wall load as a dead load in load patterns. After that, we should add to existing loads. So as 13.2 is a 13.2 is a dead load from wall. So, click on OK. See, the load is applied on the beams. This is how we should assign the loads. Then, after assigning the loads, we should analyze the building. So, for that, we should click on Analyze. Set load cases to run. If we don't want to run some load cases, you can change here. For example, I don't want to do lateral. I don't want to run lateral load cases. So I'll just click do not run. Yes, after analyzing the building, we can get shear force, bending moment, and deflections in the beams and columns. To know the maximum shear force and maximum deflections, we should click on display, show forces and stresses. For load combinations, as normally a building will design for a 1.5 dead load plus live load, so I took a load combination of 1.5 dead load plus live load. Here, shear 2 means maximum principal shear, shear 3 means minimum principal shear, and moment 2 is a minimum moment, principal moment, and moment M3 is the maximum principal moment. So and axial force, I'm considering maximum shear force, so click on OK. This will be the shear forces on the beams. If you want in detail, just click on beams. Here it will show shear force, moment, and deflection. Click on OK. After analyzing, we should design the building. Whether what we have given reinforcement is okay or not. The loads, what width and depth we are giving is satisfied to the loads or not. It can take or not. For that, we should design the building. First, we should go to design. Then we should click on concrete frame design. Next, first we have to check our preference. Our building should be designed as per IS standards, IS 456-2000. See here, design code should be IS 456-2000. Click on OK. Then click on design. Click on concrete frame design. So now we should click on start design or check off the structure. This frame has been designed. Here we will get reinforcement area. Means here we should provide 70 mm square area of the steel bars. So after all this, whether at this we have to check whether all members pass the design analysis or not. For that, we should go to concrete frame design, verify analysis versus design. So we will get a pop-up that analysis and design sections match for concrete frames. If the analysis and design section doesn't match, then it will show a pop-up where the beams have been failed. Click on OK. If the beams have been failed, either we should increase the reinforcement or we should increase the width or depth dimensions of the beams or columns. After, if you want any if you want any reinforcement, just click on left click on beam or column, then it will show reinforcement based upon our combinations. These are all combinations for earthquake load and wind load. Based upon these combinations, the reinforcement should be provided. As a building will be building or structure will be designed for 1.5 dead load plus live load, so we should take reinforcement as 1.5 dead load plus live load. Yes, for 1.5 dead load plus live load, we should take the reinforcement of the steel. Click on OK. If you want to extract the results, then just click on display, click on show tables. Then we can see that if we want all this data, what we have given the properties, assignment of joints, assignment of frames. If we want this data, you can click on this. If we want only result part, then you should click on analysis and results and design data. After selecting all this, just click on OK for extracting the results. This is a session of yesterday's. This is a session of yesterday's. All about yesterday. So today we are going to see the analysis part. As a structure or a building has been analyzed, can be analyzed in 4 ways, that is linear static analysis, non-linear static analysis, dynamic analysis, non-linear dynamic analysis. Linear static analysis is the analysis where all these frames, all the components will follow Hooke's law. That is, will all be in elastic limit only. All beams or all columns or beams, all the members will be in elastic limit. They'll take loads and deflections up to elastic limit only. After that, the beam or column will be failed within elastic limit only. They can take the stresses. Moments, deflections within elastic limits in linear static procedure, where linear static analysis. Whereas in non-linear static analysis, it doesn't follow Hooke's law. All the components like beams and columns will be in non-linear, where the stresses not proportional to strain will be non-linear. So it can take even if the loading is more in non-linear static analysis, some columns or beams can take more load. In dynamic analysis, where a ground motion is given to the structure and we will check the response of the structure, that is dynamic analysis. In that dynamic analysis, there are 2 types of analysis, that is static dynamic analysis and the other one is non-linear dynamic analysis. Static dynamic analysis is a response spectrum method and non-linear dynamic analysis is a time history method. Linear static analysis is nothing but giving the loads. The yesterday's session is all about linear static analysis, whereas non-linear static analysis is a pushover analysis. And dynamic static analysis is response spectrum analysis. Non-linear dynamic analysis is the time history analysis. Yes, linear static analysis is a design approach where the equivalent static forces due to window earthquakes are applied to the structure, and the structure will be in elastic limit only. It follows Hooke's law. Whereas non-linear static analysis is also called as pushover analysis. It is a method of determining the ultimate load and deflection capability of the structure. Pushover analysis, we can get how much the structure can deflect. The ultimate how much load, the ultimate load the structure can take can be found out by pushover analysis. Non-linear structure effects such as flexural hinges at the members, hinges are being hinges hinges will be given in pushover analysis. Where hinges are points on a structure where the where the yielding starts, where the crack can be expected. That is called a hinge. So we will take hinges into consideration in pushover analysis. So the structure is pushed until hinges is formed. Until how a structure, when a structure is pushed with some load, whether a column or beam, at which joint is affected first can be known in pushover analysis. Yes. Next, dynamic analysis. Dynamic analysis is static dynamic analysis is nothing but a response spectrum analysis in which the structural response is taken for a short earthquakes. The structural response is taken into account. That is response spectrum analysis. And next is the dynamic nonlinear analysis. That is time history analysis. Time history analysis is nothing but we will take other earthquakes which have been already occurred. That earthquakes will be given to the structure. That earthquake ground motion will be given to the present structure, and we will see the response of the structure whether it withstands that earthquake motion or not. That is called the time history analysis, and time history analysis is a step-by-step analysis, and we can know whether the structure will restrain to that ground motion or not by time history analysis. As yesterday we have discussed only linear static analysis. So today we are going to discuss non-linear static analysis, that is pushover analysis. Why pushover analysis is done? Pushover analysis is a static procedure that uses a simplified non-linear technique to estimate the seismic structural deformation. Pushover analysis is nothing but by pushover analysis we get maximum deflection that a structure can take, maximum load, ultimate load that a structure can take. Why pushover analysis is used? Pushover analysis is used for for two problems. That is, first one is, if we have an existing building we can do a pushover analysis for retrofitting strategies, whether the building can restrain how much the building can restrain, how much the building can deflect, uh, how much the building can deflate, how much that structure can grade, the ultimate load of the structure can be found out by pushover analysis. Okay, okay, I will be little slow. Okay, pushover analysis is a static analysis, whether the building, yes, pushover analysis into can be taken in two cases. The first case is if we have an existing building. If we have an existing building, we have to find out if it is if that building is in an earthquake prone area, but it is not designed as per earthquake codes or as per Indian standard codes. So we have to do a retrofitting for that building. For that, first we have to do pushover analysis for that building. From that, we will came to know about how much load the building can take, uh, where the first yielding point in the building will occur, and where the retrofitting strategy can be taken. For that, the pushover analysis is useful. And in the second case is, uh, now the buildings are being designed as a performance-based design. Now the buildings are being designed as a performance-based design, means the building, how much the ultimate load of the building can be taken. The ultimate load of the building, how much the ultimate load of the building can be known for the new design buildings. If we want higher loads to be taken on the building, then we should redesign the structure, that is called performance based design. In these two cases, the pushover analysis is used. So this is how the pushover analysis is used. And now we are going to see how the pushover analysis is done in SAP. Yes, we can uh, we can create a new model for pushover analysis. For that, go to File, click on New Model. We can click on direct 3D frames, as it is an open frame building, and click on number of stories. Let's take a number of stories B3, 2. Okay, number of beams, number of bays, as 2 by 2 story we are taking into account. So number of bays is 3, and number of bays in y direction can also be taken as 3, as this is mm. We can edit this grid data. Yes. For editing this grid data, just click on any point, click on any point on grid, then go to grid, edit grid data. This is a grid data we have given. So click on modify or show grid, show system. If we are giving an ordinate system, then this is a inordinate system. Here it is a center, so it has been taken minus into account. So for our convenience, we will take spacing. As spacing between A and B, we can give as 3 or 4 meters. As I want only two-way, two-story, I'm giving A and B and C as 0. Just click on delete. as I want only 2 by 2 story. And this is the story height. Z direction is a story height. So the spacing between the story to story is 3 meters. I wanted 2 by 2 story. So I click on OK. Click on OK. Let's take a new model. In new model, click on grid data. I just want 3 grid lines in X direction and 3 grid lines in Y direction. And in Z direction, it is 3 grid lines. And next direction, the spacing is taken as 4. Click on OK. We can edit this as I wanted 2-story. Yes, we can take 3-story building. 3-story building. Now we have to define the materials. For that, go to define. Go to materials, add new material. As I follow Indian, so region is India. Materials N30 grade of concrete. Click on OK. Click on OK. Next, we have to add longitudinal reinforcement as HYSD 415. For that, we have to take a material type as rebar. Then standard is Indian. So HYSD 415 is taken as a longitudinal reinforcement normally. So I'm taking HYSD grade, or we can take HYSD 500 also. So click on OK. And next, for tie bars, we have to take not normally tie bars will be taken as milestone for that, or else you can take tie bars also HYSD 415. The region is India. Material type is rebar. Then standard is Indian. The grade is mild grade 50. So click on OK. Click on OK. After defining the materials, we have to define the sections. For that, go to define. Go to section properties. Go to frame sections. Now we have to define our beam and columns. If we are doing pushover analysis for a new building, then we can just give our values what we have taken for that building, the width of the beam and depth of the beam. If we are taking for a existing building, then for existing building we have to take that plan. For that plan, the reinforcement in that building should be known. the width and depth of the columns and beams should be known firstly. The reinforcement provided in the columns and beams should also be known if we are doing pushover analysis for the existing building. So for that we should do a section designer. Now I am explaining for building for for new building. I'm not explaining for existing buildings. After explaining this, I will explain for existing buildings. So this is for new building. So we can take add new property. So we'll take concrete, go to rectangle, and here we are giving a beam. Let's take depth of the beam is 420 and the width of the beam is 230 as we will take the thickness of the wall. So concrete reinforcement. Here longitudinal bars will be taken as HYSD 415 and the confinement bars normally will be taken normally used as a mild steel is used for confinement bars. So mild steel as we are taking beam as a account, so we are taking beam. Next, these covers is a 0.05 bottom 25 mm cover. Okay, click on OK. Next, we have to add new property as a column. So click on column. As it is M25. Let's take our 500. HYSD415. Column B M2 M3 design. Click on rectangular confinements, clear cover, a number of bars in longitudinal, and let's take this as 4. Longitudinal bar size just take is 20 mm dia bar. So we can click on 20D. Click on 20D. Next, confinement bar size normally will taken as 8 mm dia bar or 10 mm dia bar. So we are taking as 10 mm. Confinement of the bars and the number of confinement bars. Let's be like that. So our structure now should be designed, not should be checked. So the structure should be checked first. The reinforcement should be checked. So now we are designing a building. So we should click on reinforcement to be designed. We have defined our beams and column sections. Okay, click on OK. Click on define. So now we have to define our area section, that is our slab section. So click on section, then click on area sections, click on add new section, click on shelving as we are giving a slab thing. So material name is HYSD. It's a M25 grade. Angle is normally a slab is taken as a 150 mm thickness. So we are giving 150 mm thickness. So click on OK. Click on OK. After defining all the materials or all the sections, now we have to assign. For that, just see here, it is in left side we have icons. In that if you go on down, you will get a quick draw frame cable. Click on quick draw frame cable. uh, then a pop-up will be there. From that you'll get the section. If you are drawing beams, then Here the section we should be beam. So take a plan. See it should be in XY. Line object. So the section is beam here. Now we are drawing beams. So just drag from left to right, the beams will be assigned. And then just click on down arrow for another story. Then the beam will be assigned. Then down story, just okay. Now we can take XZ plane for columns. Just now here we should take section as a column. Click on column. Okay, next just left to right. Now just click on left to right. After assigning beams and columns, we don't want columns or beams here, so we can just delete here. Just press escape and we are going to delete. Yes, after assigning the beams and columns, we should assign our footings. Our footings is taken as a fixed. So uh, first we have to select our joints. For that, just click on left and just drag it to right. Then your joints will be selected. After that, just click. Your joints will be selected. After selecting the joints, you have to assign fixed footings, that is restraints. After selecting the joints, yes. Now assign joint, and it should be restraints. Click on fixed. Click on OK. After applying footings as restraint, now just we have to assign slab. For that, we should click on XY plane. Just go to left. There are icons. Just click on quick draw area. Quick draw area. After that section is a slab. So just click in center of the area. Then the slab will be assigned. Yes. Now we have assigned the columns, beams, and slabs. Now we have to assign loads. For that, we should click on define load patterns. Dead load is a self multiplier, and live load. Just I am taking live load. Live load type should be live. Okay, add new load pattern. Okay, live. After taking live load, now we are yes. For doing pushover analysis, first the building should be designed and analyzed. So we are just assigning the loads, and we will do our as analyze part. So after analyzing, we will start our pushover procedure. So we have to just assign the live load on dead load and live load. We have to define a wall load also. Wall load is a dead load. So dead load and self multiply should be 0 for wall load. add new load pattern. Okay, click on OK. After that, we should define for load combinations as it is designed for a 1.5 dead load with live load. So we should give a load combination of dead load plus live load. So for that, it is here dead load, linear static, and scale factor should be 1.5. Add, and it should be taken as live load. Live load, linear static, and scale factor is 1.5. Dead load plus live load. Click on OK. 1.5 dead plus live is taken as a load combination. Click on OK. Now we have to assign to our slabs. Okay, select, go to select, click on select, click on properties, click on area sections. For the select slab, click on OK. All the slabs have been selected. Now we should assign a live load. Now we go to assign, go to area loads, click on area loads, click on uniform shell. Uniform shell, click on, it is a live load of 2 kilonewton 2, and we should click on add to existing load. Click on OK. Live load has been assigned to the slabs. Now we have to assign our wall load on the beams as a dead load. So we have to select, go to select, go to properties, go to frame sections, then click on beam, click on OK. All the beams have been selected, and the wall load is calculated at the density of the wall into height of the wall into thickness of the wall. After calculating all this, the wall load will be 13.2 kilonewton per meter. So we have to assign that. Go to assign, go to frame, go to frame loads, to frame loads. As our load is a uniformly distributed load, so go to distributed, then uh, we are applying a wall load, so click here wall load, add to existing load. As our load is 13.2, click on OK. Load has been applied on the walls. After applying the loads, after applying all the loads, then we have to analyze this structure. So analyze, go to analyze, set analysis option, click on OK. Next, go to analyze, set load cases to run. So we have given the 3 load cases, that is red load, live load, and wall load. Click on run now. Let's name this model as a 4-5 save. Okay, the model has been analyzed, and we have to see design. Go to, now we have to design the model. Go to design, or click on concrete frame design. Go to view or revise preference. In that it should be IS 456-2000. Here this design code should be IS 456-2000. So we have to click on Indian Standard IS 456-2000. Click on OK. After that, go to design. Click on concrete frame design. Click on start design, or check the structure. Check the structure. If any beam or column is failed, then it will show you in a red color. So after the building has been designed, after that we should check whether all members pass the analysis versus design. So we have to go to design, click on concrete frame design, verify analysis versus design section. Then the analysis and design sections match all the concrete frames. Okay, our structure has been designed. Now the pushover procedure will start. For that, first we have to unlock the model. After designing the structure, we have to unlock the model first, and then we have to go to define. But after going to define, we should go to load patterns. click on load patterns. Here we should first, the structure will be in pushover analysis. The structure will be pushed by a gravity load of dead load plus 0.25 live load. First, we should create a gravity load. The structure will be pushed with the force of dead load plus 0.25 live load. This is proposed by FEMA. Pushover analysis is done with FEMA and ATC 40. Now we should define a gravity load. For that, we have to define a gravity here, load pattern gravity, and it is a dead load. So go to dead. And it should be 0. Okay, add new load. This is a lateral load. So here we should define a gravity. Yes, okay. Click on cancel. Go to define, go to load cases. Sorry, we have to go to load cases. So add new load case. Here we should define a gravity load case. As our structure is being pushed by this gravity. So gravity, we have to set a gravity. Here pushover analysis is a static nonlinear analysis. So here static, click on static, linear. Here it should be 0 initial conditions, means from after our design part, then it will start gravity load as a push. Next, here the load pattern should be here the load type should be load pattern, and the load should be dead load. Scale factor is 1. Add. Then the load pattern is a live load, dead load plus 0.25 live load. We have to first here we have to take dead load plus 0.25 live load. So after all this, the load application should be full load. Result saved at final state only. Non-linear parameters are default. Okay, click on OK. Here a gravity load case has been defined as non-linear static. Now we have to define a push X. We can push in X direction and Y direction. Before that, we have to select a node point where we are going to push the structure. For example, we are going to push from here in this corner. For that, you have to know this node point. For knowing the node point, just click on left click. This is a node point of 3. The node point is 3. So we have to give there. So remember this, the node point is 3. Then click on OK. Now we have to go to define. We have to go to click on load cases. Click on add new load case. Click on here we are giving in X direction. We can give push X in X direction and Y direction. Now I'm only showing in X direction. So let's take the push X here. So it is a static non-linear. Here continue from state at the end of the non-linear case. Here we should take gravity. Means a push X is being in X direction. A push is being applied on the structure with a load of gravity. Gravity means dead load plus 0.25 live load. Okay, a push is being given to the structure. So after all that, then this it should be mode acceleration. As it is a X direction, it is in UX. Then the scale factor should be -1, because our pushover curve will be in if the scale factor is 1, our pushover curve will be come in left side. If our scale factor is -1, our pushover come on right side. So we have to add. Next, see here, load application. Load application means we are applying in we should apply this push X in displacement control. displacement control. Displacement control means we are displacing some, and then load should be monitored. Load use monitored displacement. The load monitored displacement of magnitude 0.36. This 0.36 means the 4% of 4% of building height. 4% of building height is taken as a maximum displacement. So our building height is 9 into 0.04 is 0.36. As our building, as our structural height varies, this load monitored displacement will also vary, and monitored displacement is U1 at joint at node point. We have seen that node point is 3. So click on OK. Click on OK, and result saved. Result saved is as the push should be in multiple steps, step by step. In one step, it will be displaced with some. It will be displaced with some deflection. In multiple steps, we can see where the hinges will form. So we are taking multiple steps. So for each stage, we can take from 100 to 1000 steps. Click on OK. And the non-linear parameters. Non-linear parameters means here we can, if the pushover curve is not come, whether the curve is linear, then the building is in elastic only. Then the building is in elastic limit only. So the pushover curve, for changing the pushover curve, for to come in a non-linear, then we can change all these. The maximum total of steps or minimum, here we can change the convergence tolerance. We can give 0.01. If the pushover curve is not come is in linear state, if we change this, then the pushover curve will change. So click on OK. Let's take this as default values. Click on OK. Click on OK. Okay, the push X has been given. Now we have to give assign hinges. Hinges means nothing but the ultimate hinges are the points on the structure where the maximum yielding can change, where the point where the elastic limit is going to inelastic, at the elastic where up to that point it is in elastic limit. After that it will be in inelastic limit. The hinges should be given here. That is called a hinge. So for that we have to define hinges. Go to define, go to section properties. Here it is a hinge property. Click on hinge property. So we are giving for a new building. So we have to add a new property, concrete. Click on OK. Okay, this is first section. Go to hinge property, add new property, concrete, deformation, deformation control. Click on OK. This is for user defined, that is for existing buildings. We will take this and click on OK. Okay. First we have to select our beams. Select all. For assigning hinges, select beams. Click on select. Click on select. First we will click on properties. Click on frame sections. Click on beam. Click on OK. All the beams have been selected. Now we have to apply hinges. For that, assign frame. Yes, see hinges. Click on hinges. Auto hinges. Software will give you auto hinges. Click on auto, and relative distance is normally hinges will normally hinge points will be at 0.05 and 0.95. So we have to give here 0.05. Now we are giving this to beams. So from table FEMA 356, it will take from FEMA 356. So we have to take concrete beams. Concrete beams, it is a primary component. M3. case of combo. Next. Click on OK. Here it has been selected, and next we have to select for 0.95 concrete beam. So click on OK. Click on OK. All the hinges have been applied to the beams. Now we have to apply hinges on the columns. So now we have to apply columns. We have to select properties, frame sections, columns, click on column, click on OK. Now assign, click on assign, click on frame. Now go to hinges. Here we are defining for auto hinges, and it is a relative distance of 0.05. Here we are giving hinges for columns, that is concrete columns. Take from here concrete columns, click on concrete columns. It is PM2 M3. Yes, click on OK. Next, click on 0.95. Add. Okay, all the hinges have been applied to beams and columns. Now we have to do hinge override. Means actually the software will follow finite element analysis. So we have to do hinge overrides. For that we have to select all. For selecting all, press Control A, all beams and columns will be selected. Now go to assign, then go to frame and click on frame. Here it is hinge overrides. Auto subdivide line objects at hinges, as finite element analysis is based upon subdividing any section into small portions. So it is being subdivided. All the frame sections will be subdivided into 0.02 relative length, and it is being analyzed. So we have to do hinge overrides. So then click on OK. Hinge overrides has been given. Now we have to analyze the structure. Now click on Analyze, set analysis option. Click on OK. Analyze. Click on Analyze, set load cases to run. Here here gravity is a non-linear static and push X is a non-linear static. Okay, click on OK. Click on Run now. The analysis has been started. Here you can see the push X. Here it is. As the analysis has been completed, You can see, now we should see how the our curve has came. So first go to display. First we can see our, go to display, go to deform shape, click on push X. How our structure is going to going to perform while we are pushing, the structure, we can see here. So click on OK. This is how our structure, this is an X direction, we are pushing in this direction. So the structure has been pushed in that, structure has been displaced in that direction. This is the first step. Then this is the next step. See here, the hinge has been formed here. Then this is the first point where the yielding has been. This is the first point where the yielding has been done. Where the yielding has been, ultimate yielding has been taken place. So this is the first place where the crack may appear if displacement, if that load has been applied to the structure twice. So next, this is how the cracks will be formed if the structure is being loaded with that load in a continuous manner or at a time. If the hinge is in, yes, here you can see IO means, here pink means IO. IO means immediate occupancy. Means we can stay in that structure, but immediate occupancy we can, but some rehabilitation should be done. Then limit, then safety. Here limit safety means some rehabilitation should be done with some retrofitting strategies. And CP means collapse, collapse state. Then the structure is can be collapsed if that load, if that load on the structure has been came onto this structure. So this is how the hinges will form. This is how the structure will perform when that load, when with some load it is pushed. Now we'll see our pushover curve. Then go to display. Then click on static pushover curve. This is how our curve has been came. Means we will click on file. For values, click on file. Click on display tables. Yes, this is a pushover curve. Here you can see that the ultimate, yes, you can see that here, from here, it is here at this point. It can take this much base reaction, this much displacement, and this much base reaction, that is 792 kilonewton, and it can displace up to 38 mm. 38 mm displacement will be in mm. 38 mm, and the base reaction it can take up to 792 kilonewtons. So we can see these values in a table format. Click on OK. Yes. Yes, this is 0.039 meters, means 39 mm is the maximum displacement, and 778 is the maximum base reaction it can take, the structure can take. Oh, no, here see. Click on OK. Click on OK. This is a pushover curve. If our new building or a new structure, if we want to take more load, more deflection, then the structure can be redesigned, and this is called a performance based design. Next, this is a pushover curve for a normal building, newly designed building. If you have any queries, please let me know. Next, I will explain for existing building with section designer. You can unmute and please.
I request participants, if you have any doubts regarding today's session, you can put your message over there, or you can just unmute yourself and you can ask questions.
Hello, ma'am.
Good morning.
Yeah, who is this?
Good morning.
Srivalli, right?
Tanveer Hedri, sir.
Tanveer Hydri. Yeah, you can speak to her.
Yes. Ma'am, I want to know that using this software only we can analyze pushover analysis, or else we can go for some.
With other software also we can do pushover analysis.
No,
With
ma'am.
ETABS.
Using this SAP
Yes.
2000, we can also go for some other analysis, or else
Okay.
for this
Yes, we can do
pushover.
response. We can do time history analysis in SAP also. In SAP, time history analysis.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. For I need some topic on this SAP 2000 in structures engineering, ma'am. I have searched a lot, but it is regarding construction management using this software.
No.
Is there
You are
any topic for?
Yeah, Tanveer, actually you are searching in a wrong way. SAP, general SAP is for management. Okay, for all
Okay,
companies, they use SAP for managing their utilities. Okay, so like
okay, sir.
Primavera, in the same way they use SAP for managing your utilities. But you have to search especially for structural engineering like SAP 2000, which mention you as a structural analysis programming. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
by that you will get the whole content related to structures. Got it?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
In that
Thank
way
you.
you have to search. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Someone asked in what case we perform pushover analysis, and why do we need to do this? Do that. So there are two cases you can perform pushover analysis. The first case is if we have an existing building and that existing building is an earthquake prone area. In that earthquake, but the design of the building is only for normal design. It is not designed for earthquake resistant building. So we have to do some retrofitting strategy for that building. In that case, we can perform pushover analysis. And we from pushover analysis we came to know that where the first hinge is where the first hinge is obtained, so that here we can do retrofitting. So and there are different types of retrofitting strategies. After getting pushover curve, we will know that how much displacement that structure can take, how much base reaction, the ultimate base reaction that structure can sustain, can take. So by this, the existing building can be taken into account, and we can do the pushover analysis, and we can suggest some retrofitting strategy by taking pushover curve into account. Okay, this is the first case, and the next case is we can if normally all buildings nowadays has been designed as earthquake resistant buildings. Not only that, some buildings has been designed as per performance based design. Performance based design means if our building if we want this building to sustain this much deflection, it can retain this much deflection, it should retain it should have this much base reactions. If we have if we want that building should sustain, then you have to do performance based design. Performance based design is it will be with pushover analysis. These are two cases where we use our pushover analysis. I think I cleared that. Okay. If you have more doubts, then you can ask. If you have any queries.
Anyone? So I think the topics which we covered today are so which started with loading, right, ma'am? Loading, gravity loads,
Yes,
and
sir.
lateral
Yes,
load.
sir.
Yeah. And we
Yes,
did
sir.
analysis and results for a normal frame.
Normal, yes, sir.
Yeah, got it.
Next, we have done non-linear analysis, non-linear pushover analysis.
Exactly, ma'am.
Non-linear static analysis. Today we have.
Ma'am, your voice is getting disturbed,
Today
ma'am.
we have done only for a new building.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear. Will you please check once? Hello? Hello?
We have to tomorrow session we will do on existing building by
Yeah.
using section designer pushover analysis.
Yeah.
Further.
Ma'am, tomorrow you are dealing with pushover analysis or time history analysis?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, ma'am. So tomorrow you are dealing with the time history analysis.
Time history analysis also available. Yes, sir. Sir, first I will deal with the pushover analysis with the section designer, and then I'll come to a time history analysis, sir.
Okay, right. Because the concrete design is also there. What we do is after completion of this analysis, we'll go with the concrete design, ma'am. Then.
Okay, sir. Actually, concrete design in this session is nothing but is nothing but here we are after. Yes, sir.
Yeah, concrete design in the sense getting area of steel for the sections which are analyzed, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, I have explained. I have explained that also. Just we have designed. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Guys, so please respond because it should be more like an interactive session. Yeah. So why? Because 2 hours continuously we can't go through only the design. So at least a half an hour we have to have a discussion. So that that doubts will be clarified by using the software itself. Okay, whatever the doubts you have, please we request you to please ask, and get cleared in this session itself. Okay, later on you may view the video again and you may do the things. Definitely you can, but you can't clear your doubts, right? So that's the reason why I'm requesting you. Please, if you have any doubts related to the topics which we covered till date, like day 1, day 2, and day 3, so you can put your question over here.
Yes, sir. There is a question in load pattern. How we add IS code directly? Here you can see. Go to define. First, we have to unlock the model. Yes, we have to go to define, then go to load patterns. Yes, highest code means we will give highest codes only for lateral loads, not for dead load, live load, or what we are giving like a floor finishes, wall load. That loads we should first see in IS code because varies. For a structure, for a residential building, the live load will vary. So the software can't take uh, based upon the occupancy of the building. So we have to give our live load, dead load in the assign. We should assign in the assign section. Other than that, the lateral loads. If we give lateral loads uh, like wind load, we have to take this as a wind and self multiply should be 0. Here auto lateral load pattern. Here we should assign wind load. Wind means IS 875. IS 875. So we should take here. It will take only wind load and earthquake loads. Earthquake loads codes in IS codes will be preferred from the software, not dead load like live load and wall load we should assign. I hope this doubt was the explanation is okay for the doubt. Yes, can you please text? Okay, it's the doubt has been clarified. And next, if you have any queries, just you can unmute your mic and you can also speak.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can we design with the foundation also with the SAP?
Concrete
Foundation
foundation.
design.
No, ma. Actually, for foundation design, it is a separate software. SAFE. SKFE.
Okay.
SAFE.
SF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SAFE.
Yeah.
Is there for
Use those softwares for designing foundations, Sama. There are special
Can we-
softwares like Plaxis 3D and GeoGrid softwares and like Safe. So these are the softwares where you can particularly design based on the soil properties and particularly for foundations.
Can we use these details in the foundation design? I mean, we need some courses, no substructure.
Yeah, I think
Like
so.
SAP Pro,
Loads and
SAP Pro,
analysis
after
part you've done in the superstructure. You can give these details in Safe, and you can get the rest of foundation details also.
okay, sir. Because like SAP Pro and the difference between SAP Pro and SAP.
Ma'am, will you answer or do I? The difference between StatPro and SAP, he's asking like.
okay.
Not
Sir.
not like that, sir. In designing the SAP Pro, we'll get directly to the
Yes.
foundation. After designing in SAP Pro, you can go directly to the foundation.
Yes. Actually, from StatPro, actually StatPro is for design. The reinforcement is designed properly in StatPro, so we can take the values of StatPro in foundation design.
ఈరోజు 4 o'clock కి submission చేయాలి.
Yes, I hope you have cleared, or if you have any doubt, you can text.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, in SAP, it is in SAP, we can do nonlinear analysis, that is time history and pushover analysis is best for SAP. You can do projects on pushover analysis in SAP. Sure. So you can just post your queries on your chat box.
See, any questions you can post them, you can at least text. By that we
Yes.
can answer your questions. Thank you. Anything else? MTech students, see, if you are aware about this software, so no need to, you know, bother about your MTech topics or MTech projects. Yeah, so you can start designing and unique kind of structures with the help of SAP, and then your MTech thesis can be done. So that's what we are requesting all the MTech students, because they are just bothered about how can I choose the topic. So what are the latest areas where we can do analysis of structures like that. Apart from buildings also, you can consider any kind of structures, like kind of infrastructures which are available, like auditoriums, open spaced structures like hangars. Even for them also you can make use of this app in terms of dynamic analysis, isn't it, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Guys, so like that, so in that way you can think of. And not only RCC structures, you can just go through steel structures also. Yeah, steel
Yes.
structures also you can go with SAP 2000, steel alone.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I think they can find even the cold form structures also in SAP, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Cold form structures also has been there, and nowadays in other countries, cold form structures has been used as its shear walls. They are
Shear walls.
replacing cold form structures as a shear walls. Actually, there are many papers on that. You can use shear walls as a cold form structures.
Yeah, exactly. Guys, so in that way you can make use of that. Okay, see, this session
Yes.
is not only for on the
SAP.
software, even you can clear your doubts technically which are related to your structures. Okay, so I think faculties are available, there are industrial participants also there in this FDP. So I think a person from Tata Steel also there. So we are very happy that industrial participants also there in this FDP. Yeah, faculty from Pune, faculty from NICMAR, so I think they can also share their views. So I request any faculty there currently, I mean in the live, so they can also share their views with respect to student projects and all, because we want to make this session more interactive. So in that way we are just helping students in these aspects also. Anyone? So you can unmute and you can speak, Amma. I hope everyone installed the softwares, right? The software which I shared to you, you can install and you can start working on your small models like beams, which you have studied in strength of materials and structural analysis. So I request before going into, before analyzing frames and all, you can straight away practice from a small beams and a single bay portal frames and all. Then you can go for multi-story buildings. Isn't it, ma'am? It will be good, right?
Yes.
Directly
Yes.
going into portal frames. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We can recheck that values. We
They
can do
can check those
on a
alphas
paper.
and values also.
Yes, they can check. They can compare the software values and their calculations also by doing the
Exactly.
small beams. By
Exactly.
giving a load of UDL, a concentrated load, they can just recheck and do it.
Exactly. Who is this? Suresh? Anyone? So because many students, many one have a doubt, like, why these many softwares for analysis, because I
Yes.
come across this question many times. So here I would like to share my view. For example, if you are very good enough in StatPro, then why ETABS? See, ETABS especially, we can go with the dynamic analysis. Apart from that, for example, if you design a structure in StatPro, if you are designing the same structure in ETABS, so there will be a difference in terms of sectional property. I mean, end of the day, the sectional dimensions may get changed, or else the design parameters may get changed. So that reflects in its economy of the structure. Okay, so in my perspective, ETABS is more economical than StatPro, because StatPro gives more sectional details. I mean, more reinforcements. So where the structure is not economical for the client, isn't it, ma'am? So that's why ETABS people use much to make structure more economical.
Yes, sir, and ETABS is a more user-friendly.
User friendly, yeah.
We can, yes, sir, user-friendly. ETABS is a more user-friendly compared to SAP and StatPro.
Yeah, yeah.
And in ETABS, the linear analysis and response spectrum analysis is being more. It will give more accurate values other than pushover and time history analysis. SAT is more for non-linear analysis.
Non-linear analysis. And one more thing, I think time history analysis can't be done in ETABS, right, ma'am?
No, so time history analysis can be done in ETABS also, sir.
ETABS also, huh? Okay, okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Mainly the response spectrum analysis is been, it will give more accurate results. You can extract results very easily from ETABS.
From ETABS. Okay, okay.
From ETABS, extract results from ETABS very easily. Compared to SAP.
Yeah, okay. And but, even I found the SAP is more user friendly. I mean, there's every command is in the toolbox, and we can just drag and we can make use of that comparatively with StatPro. Yeah.
Okay. Compared to StatPro, SAP is user friendly, sir.
User friendly, yes.
And next, here, if we take and pushover analysis compared to ETABS, SAP gives more accurate results.
It will give accurate results.
Yes, sir. And the curve and the pushover curve, which is the last, which is a result of the pushover analysis, the curve will be more accurate in SAP compared to ETABS.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why for nonlinear analysis, if we are doing any projects or any for nonlinear analysis, we prefer SAP.
Yeah, yeah. And the main thing is considering structure as a non-linear. I think those data is more accurate than structure considering in a linear action.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because those values are more relevant for the practical point of view, I think so.
Yes, sir.
Guys, any doubts? So it's not us, actually you people should interact with us. Anyone? Any MTech student?
Not related to softwares, you can ask
You can ask generally also.
You can ask generally.
See, even general doubts also can be clarified in this session, Amma, even in this FDP. So please guys, don't feel shy. You can open up and you can ask doubts. You can interact with us, or else you can just text also. It will be fine. Okay, is that fine? So can we wind up the session then? Please guys, at least respond for that. If you are fine with the session, today's session, you can say, you know, that we will wind up. You can give your feedback, I mean, right here, like for winding up the session. Fine. Is this good today?
Yes. How was the session? You can give your feedback also in your comment section.
The feedback in comment section. You will get the link. But apart from that, straight away, you can just put your text message over here. How was the session today? And
Any material for practice
Yeah.
means any material means for what? For SAP or any softwares? Can you give me a clarity?
Why means someone is asking for materials,
Yes.
huh?
Yeah, no, sir. They are asking that could you provide any material for practice?
Yeah,
Means
practice for what? Practice for SAP, huh?
for SAP.
See, practice for SAP itself means you can just go through all structural problems there in your BTech curriculum. I think those problems are more than enough for making, for better practice. I think so.
Yes, sir. And you can go through all the data, all the menu bar, all the sections. If you practice, then you can create your own structure. You can create your own shape of structure by
Yes,
using
yes.
SAP. If
Yeah.
you're interested.
Hmm. See, there are a lot of structures, Sama, which are not just as a regular shapes. You can go with
Yes.
the regular shapes also. Hmm.
Yes, we can go. We can draw curved beams. We can draw any type curved beams also. So you can put not only rectangular columns. There are some commercial places where the columns are circle in section. So you can replace the rectangular columns with circular columns. You can
Yes,
see the differences. You can see the
yes.
differences. You can see the differences in values of you can the bending moment, shear force, how it behaves in this type of loading, how it behaves, whether the load is applied in that direction. Yes, you can play with softwares if you are interested.
See, I think all civil softwares are something like a games.
Yes,
How you enjoy when you play a game. Okay, so here you are going to enjoy a game by knowing some values. You can just compare those values in software. So by that, if they are very relevant and very near enough, so by that you can feel that you did in the right way. That's what I'm telling. You can just practice the problems which were there in your textbooks. Like you can go with the standard textbooks like structural analysis, reinforced concrete design, and other design related textbook, and you can just compare your theoretical values with software things. That's it. And you can go with the like hanging columns, regular structures, not only just a rectangular shape, circular shape,
Uh,
oval shape. Yeah, so you can go with and you.
Not only regular buildings, compared to regular buildings, there will be irregular buildings also. In practice, there are very small amount of regular buildings. Irregular buildings will be more. Means their irregularity criteria will come. So you can just check the forces, stresses coming onto the columns in regular and irregular buildings. It's all about your interest. Interest in softwares.
And one more thing, hands-on practice should be there. So you can't
Yes.
just, learn for 3-4 days and no, you can't stop them. You need to practice every day. So then only it will be like complete hands-on, in these things.
Soft.
Hello.
Uh,
Okay, ma'am. Then we will end the session, ma'am. Okay.
okay, sir.
I think they can go for practice, right? Okay then. Yeah, thank you so much for today's session, and I thank our resource person Tejaswini for giving, clarifying all the doubts and as well, right? And we will meet tomorrow then. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Mm, mm.